If we turn our backs and spit in his face, will God still bless the USA?
British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher once stated, "The problem with socialism is that you eventually run out of other people's money." It seems that every country leans towards socialism, even the United States, even in America's heyday. Greetings, Patriots. I'm Greene. Welcome to God in America, where faith and freedom reflect genuine compassion. Today, we'll revisit a lesson from Congressman Davy Crockett, the hero of the Alamo and statesman of Tennessee. It's a story about integrity, responsibility, and a timeless truth that public money isn't a politician's to give, it belongs to the people. That principle has deep roots in Scripture and is highly relevant to how we think about government, generosity, and stewardship today. Davy Crockett was serving in the U.S. House of Representatives in the 1820s when Congress proposed a bill to appropriate money for the relief of the widow of a naval officer who had died in service. It seemed like a noble and compassionate act. Many in Congress supported it, but Crockett surprised everyone by opposing it. He said, "Mr. Speaker, I have as much respect for the memory of the deceased as any man in this House, but we have no right to appropriate this money as charity." The chamber fell silent. Crockett went on to explain that the Constitution gave Congress the power to spend public funds only for specific enumerated purposes, and personal charity wasn't one of them. He added, "We have the right as individuals to give away as much of our own money as we please in charity, but as members of Congress, we have no right so to appropriate a dollar of the public money." Crockett then told a story that changed his own mind years earlier. While campaigning for re-election, Crockett met a farmer named Horatio Bunce in his Tennessee district. Bunce surprised him by telling him he wouldn't be voting for him this time. The farmer explained, "You gave a vote last winter, which shows you either have very little judgment or are not honest, and I can't vote for either one." Crockett was taken aback and asked what he meant. Bunce reminded him that Congress had voted to grant $20,000 to help victims of a Georgetown fire. Crockett had voted for it. Bunce said, "It's not yours to give." He went on, "The money belongs to the people. Congress has no right to give charity. When you give away what's not yours, you teach the people that the government can do what individuals should be doing." Crockett realized the man was right. The next day, he revisited Bunce and admitted his mistake and told him, "You taught me more by one talk than all the books I've ever read." From that day on, Crockett vowed never again to vote for an appropriation of public money unless the Constitution authorized it. That's a lesson our current Congress should adopt. This story isn't about stinginess, it's about stewardship. Crockett wasn't against helping widows of fire victims. He was against the government overstepping its rightful bounds. He believed charity should come from the heart of individuals, churches, and communities, not from forced taxation disguised as generosity. The Bible speaks often about stewardship, the management of what God has entrusted to us. In 1 Corinthians 4, verse 2, Paul writes, "Moreover, it is required in stewards that a man be found faithful." Faithfulness means handling what isn't ours as if we'll one day answer for it, because we will. That applies not only to the money, but to power, authority, and influence. Crockett understood that members of Congress were stewards of the public trust, not owners of the public purse. To misuse that trust, even for seemingly good ends, was to betray it. In Luke 16, verse 10, Jesus said, "He who is faithful in very little is faithful also in much." When leaders use the people's money for purposes beyond their rightful power, they begin to blur the line between generosity and control, between compassion and coercion. Today, the federal government spends trillions of dollars every year, much of it in the name of helping people. Yet our national debt has soared past $38 trillion, and citizens carry an ever-growing tax burden. We're told that government spending is compassion, but Crockett's story reminds us that genuine compassion can't be compelled. When the state takes the place of the church or the neighbor or the family, it replaces mercy with machinery. In our time, we see the government promising to provide for every need from cradle to grave while taking what belongs to future generations to pay for it. It's the same mistake in a larger form. The church also faces a temptation here. Sometimes even Christians place their trust in political solutions rather than personal obedience. But God's model for charity has never changed. We see it throughout the New Testament, individuals helping individuals, communities carrying each other's burdens, and churches serving the poor out of love, not legislation. As Galatians 6, verse 2 reads, bear one another's burdens and so fulfill the law of Christ. That's voluntary compassion, not forced redistribution to which we have grown so accustomed. The story of Davy Crockett and Horatio Bunce is really about integrity. It's a reminder that doing the right thing often means saying no when it's politically easier to say yes. Our nation needs leaders who see themselves as stewards, not rulers, servants of the people, not owners of the treasury. As citizens, we share that responsibility. If we want limited moral government, we must also take personal responsibility. When people stop practicing compassion, they begin to outsource it, and freedom fades in the process. Davy Crockett's legacy isn't just about bravery at the Alamo, it's about character in Congress. He learned that freedom depends on self restraint, both personal and governmental. That principle, it's not yours to give, guards liberty because it reminds us who the real owners are. As Psalm 24, verse 1 declares, the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. All is God's, not the government's. We are simply stewards. When leaders and citizens remember that truth, government becomes a servant again, not a master, as our founders and framers intended. Patriots, the next time you hear a politician like Bernie Sanders promise to give something, remember Horatio Bunce's simple wisdom. It's not yours to give. Generosity is a blessing when it flows from willing hearts, not from government coffers. I'm Perry Greene. Thanks for joining me on God in America. Stay rooted in Scripture, stand firm in principle, and let's keep the light of freedom and faith through stewardship burning.
Yeah, if we turn our backs and spit